This week on Ice Time Online, Brendan Burke has interviewed Danny Syvret, the Rivermen defenseman, about his London days in the Ontario Hockey League and one of the greatest teams, if not the greatest, in the history of junior hockey. And we've also talked to some other people for this episode. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, we talked to Danny. We also talked to Phil McRae because in the big hockey news this week, a couple of coaching changes not involving the Blues organization, but the London Knights head coach, Dale Hunter, is now the Washington Capitals head coach, and both those guys had a chance to play for him. We also caught up with Jonathan Cheechoo about his 500th point, and it's the end of the month, which means Movember has come and about to go, so we'll determine the winner. It was pretty much a runaway favorite from day one with the mustache competition.
Watch and see who it is.
Let the records speak for themselves. The London Knights of 2004-2005 were simply one of the greatest junior hockey teams of all time. Some say the greatest. They put London on the map as Hockeyville in North America. The House of Green became the House of Joy as the Knights ended a 40-year franchise wait by steamrolling their way to the Memorial Cup. It was complete, unequivocal, and decisive. The Knights were truly number one.
All right, Danny, big news out of the NHL, a couple of coaching changes, and a familiar name for you. You played for Dale Hunter with the London Knights. Talk about what kind of coach he is.
Really good coach. He's sort of a player's coach. He's well respected in the locker room and demands a lot out of you. But at the same time, he's real fair, and when it's time to have fun, he can have fun. But if he needs to crack the whip, he'll do so.
You're a guy that had some very good times with him in that 04-05 season. From a lot of people that don't know a lot about junior hockey, probably one of the best junior hockey teams of all time, 59-7-2. Just look back at that season. What was that magical run like?
It started right from the first game. We were all drafted. Majority of the team was all draft picks, so we'd been together for 2 previous years. The first year, I think we were a 500 team that did pretty well in the playoffs, and then the second year we ended up winning the league and bowing out in Game 7 of the finals. And then the third year was the year that we sort of went on our streak right out of the get-go. So, we were a pretty tight-knit group, and we still are. A lot of us go back to London, Ontario every summer and spend our summers there and train there.
Their team punctuated its dream season by setting a Canadian Hockey League record of 31 consecutive games, 29 wins, 2 ties, without a loss to begin the season. They were the first team to record back-to-back 50-win seasons. They chalked up the most wins and the most points by one team. Gerald Coleman collected the most shutouts by a goaltender with 8. And Corey Perry became the all-time Knights points leader. Captain Danny Syvret was CHL Defenseman of the Year. It was a double gold for both, as they had played key roles in Canada's march to the World Junior Championship 4.5 months earlier in North Dakota.
It was the first championship for London in 40 years. That city was unbelievable after the fact. Talk about the aftermath, really, the parade and all that kind of stuff.
It was pretty neat, especially to do it in London. The Hunters did a real good job in owning the London Knights and promoting them and marketing them. And I think you could put a London Knight logo on anything that year and it would be sold. So there was a lot of green and gold flying around the city. So, and there still is. London's probably one of the elite teams in junior hockey, and they have a nice facility downtown, and it sort of changed the entire downtown of the city. So I think that's a big reason why a lot of us go back there every summer, is because the fun we had and the networks and the people we've met along the way.
You played junior hockey in London.
Yeah, for 4 years.
And the Hunter family is?
Mark and Dale are the owners and family friends with us. And yeah, they bought in and own it. They own all of it almost, and my dad bought in a little bit and owns it with them.
So Basil McRae has a percentage of that team in partnership with the Hunter boys. And you kind of grew up around them, didn't you?
Yeah, for sure. Dale and Mark, both have sons my age, so the 3 of us were always around the rink together when we were younger, hanging out and stuff, and then eventually the 3 of us got to play together in London, which was pretty cool.
What kind of guy is Dale Hunter? How does he strike you?
He's as a coach, or he's pretty laid back, but if he gets mad, I'll let you know for sure. And I'd say he's definitely a player's coach. I've never really known anyone that didn't like playing for him. He seems to get guys to want to play good for him. So yeah, everyone really enjoys playing for him, and he brings the best out of you most of the time.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks.
Well, Jonathan, another milestone you reached on Sunday with your 500 and your 501st point. Not something you were aware of?
Not really. I hadn't really taken a look at any of the stat sheets, I guess, and I was just able to. I found out about it after, and it's a pretty cool thing. My sister actually knew about it before I did. She had already sent a text before during the game, so it was pretty cool.
There are certain numbers, and 500 seems to be one of them, whether it's games played or goals or points or whatever it is. But I mean, that's a career right there. You can start getting into those numbers where you can look at it and say, I played for a long time and did a lot of good things out there.
Absolutely, it's something where, I played for a long time. I did put up some points pretty much every year I played, and had a lot of games. Had over 500 NHL games, and 500 pro points is it's something I'll be proud of, and I'll be able to look back on.
Even shut off the wheels a little bit on that play.
Oh yeah, once in a while, you get that little speed burst, and I was able to beat the guy, and not hard. Find Phil. He's got the lead in goals on our team, so he was able to put it in.
He's a goal scorer like yourself. You see a little bit of you in him?
A little bit, yeah. It's something where he takes care of his own end. The sky's the limit for him. He's got great offensive instincts, and I think it's something where he's just going to take a year or so to improve, and he's already starting to come around.
Well, Jonathan, congratulations, and we'll talk to you again when you hit 600.
All right, thanks.
Anthony Nigro, congratulations. It appears once again that you have outgrown everybody else's mustache here in November. What does this award mean to you?
Well, I'm not that shocked. Last year I'm the reigning champ from last year, so coming into it, the rookies didn't look too good, and up against all the same guys from last year, so pretty much a given that I was going to win again.
Was there anybody that had you worried at all?
Del Rivera had a pretty good mustache, my roomie. I lived with him last year, and I taught him a few things about growing a mustache, so he gave me a run for my money, but still came out victorious.
Would you like to thank your father?
I would, yeah, his genes. And my mother. But, yeah, my father's got a pretty good mustache, too, so I owe a lot to him.
Now, last year you grew it out for no apparent reason towards the end of the season, and I know you were thinking about shaving it, and then you decided to keep for a while. Is this going to stay for a while longer?
Yeah, last year I started growing it when I got hurt, and the boys loved it, so I grew it the rest of the year. This year I'm not so sure how much I like it. I think I've had about enough with it. I'm counting down the days till November's done.
You should put the curls on the end. You'll be all set.
Yeah, maybe I'll gel it for the last day of November, do something cool with it.
Well, thank you for your participation in November. A lot of money raised by these hockey players, growing out the facial hair, although the captain of the team, Brett Sterling, not here to enjoy it, but he's rocking the mustache up in St. Louis.
Yeah, he did a great job putting it all together, getting a lot of guys on board, and good for him. He's called up playing with the Blues now, and a lot of good goes to him for getting this whole thing together.
By the way, everybody is growing mullets for December, just so you know.
Yeah, I got that working a little bit.